So today's episode is a very raw and real episode. I'm talking about jealousy, I'm talking about comparison hangovers, and how to actually move past that place so that you don't stop, you don't get sidetracked from your big dreams. So let's dive in. Welcome to the I Heart My Life show with success coach Emily Williams. Tune in daily to learn how to design a life you love, create more success and wealth, move past fear and blocks, and bring more joy into your life and business. It's time to create a life that's better than your dreams. Okay, so today's episode is very raw and real because I was literally just listening to another podcast by the incredible Rachel Hollis of the Hollis Company. And to be honest, I don't know much about Rachel. I know that she shared the stage with one of my good friends, Nick Pigeon, at Brendan Burchard's event very recently. And that was how I discovered her. I know that she had the second, I believe, highest grossing sales book in 2018. I know that she works with her husband. I know that she has an absolutely huge following on Instagram, and she has tons of reviews on iTunes. I know that she's super adorable and funny, and I love already listening to her podcast. I've just listened to one episode so far. But as I was listening to the podcast, I started to feel super jealous, and I started to get in my own head around my own podcast and the I Heart My Life show and my work in the world. And I started to compare myself to her and what she was putting out. And I remember even when I first discovered her work, I messaged my friend Nick and I was like, oh my gosh, what an incredible company. I'm so jealous. What was she like? And asked her some questions. And she was very frank with me, which I love about her. And basically said, she's been doing this for like 15 years. And don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's 15 years, but it's a significant amount of time compared to the amount of time that we've been running I Heart My Life. And I share this with you today in complete vulnerability and honesty because I know that so many people suffer with what I always heard Marie Forleo call a comparison hangover. And this is basically when we experience jealousy or we start to compare ourselves to other people who are maybe further along or doing something that we desire to do. And over the years, I've learned a little bit about how to handle jealousy, but I also just wanted to, like I said, share this very vulnerably with you because I think it's important to know that this is something that will probably always come up if you are a driven person. And for me, like I said, one of the ways that I have learned to handle it is to make it a good thing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But first, let's talk about the real feelings that come up for all of us when we experience this jealousy or this comparison. So if you're anything like me, the first thing I thought was, oh my gosh, I don't think my podcast episodes are good enough. I need to really re-listen to the one that I literally just recorded yesterday. Maybe I need to tweak it. Maybe I need to delete it. Maybe I need to re-record it. All of that stuff came up for me. Then I started to think, well, maybe I need to be doing another show with my husband because she has a Rise Together podcast and that's the one she does with her husband. Maybe our show is really confusing because sometimes James does episodes, sometimes I do. Maybe we need to segment it out a bit more. And then I started thinking about her book and how incredible it was and how it completely took off. And what if my book is not good enough? And you basically end up going down this rabbit hole of all these thoughts and all these reasons to harm yourself and reasons why you're not good enough or not far enough along or are not doing things right. And we can be completely sidetracked for a day or a week or however long we allow it to persist if we do let it persist. And it's so important that you are able to recognize that rabbit hole as it starts to appear and get yourself out of it. So we'll cover how to do that in just a minute. But I think what happens in this space is that everyone is so visible. Everyone is so raw and real. Everyone's putting their work out into the world. Everyone's showing up in a big way. We're seeing inside people's lives. We're experiencing firsthand and in real time what's going on for them in their companies. And we're also seeing people's highlight reel. As you all know, we're seeing all the good. We're seeing what's going really well. We're also seeing potentially seeing someone's chapter 10 when you're in chapter 1. And so it's very easy to compare yourself to someone else's story and someone else's reality, or what we perceive as their reality. And I wanted to be real and honest with you that, like I said, that I go through this as well as I go through this now. And I did, of course, when I was first starting my business. And it really is completely normal. But the most important thing is, like I said, you get yourself out of that rabbit hole. So when this happens, when these feelings come up for me, I think about where I'm at right now, and I think about all of the amazing things that we're currently doing at I Heart My Life. So whether that's one of our new programs or a client sharing a success. I just went into our Slack channel for our Millionaire Club program and saw that one of the ladies just signed up her highest paying one-on-one client so far. So $13,000 paid in full. And that's what really inspired me to come and record this episode for you. So these are the few things that I like to do when the jealousy creeps up. So I take a look at what's going well in our company. I look at our clients' successes, whether that's reading testimonials or just interacting with clients to kind of get myself out of my own head. I think about all the incredible things that I'm proud of that I've achieved, whether it's in the last week or even the last year or however long. And I also show gratitude for the person who has made me feel jealous. So we often forget that step, but it's so important, because all that jealousy means is that you've experienced or you've been reminded what it is that you desire, or what it is that you want to move forward with, or how you want to show up in the world, or the impact that you want to make. So jealousy can give us clarity around what we really want. And so whoever has evoked that jealousy in you, or evoked those feelings of not enoughness, show them gratitude, show them love, and really appreciate them. Let me just take this example to illustrate how this works in a bit of a deeper way. So if I take a look at someone like Rachel Hollis, who has put in the work, who's built this podcast, who at the time, as I'm looking at it, has over 8,000 reviews on iTunes. If I take a look at her and her work in the world, and the effort that she put into her book, and the stages that she's spoken on, and the work that she's put into her relationship, or the effort that she's put into having to raising 4 children, right? I know you don't necessarily know who this person is that I'm talking about, but you can do this with anyone. Think about all of the work that they've done to pave the way for where you sit or stand today in your own business, in your own life, and show immense gratitude for that person, because we all know that things are not easy. We all know that someone who is a step or 2 or 5 or 15 ahead of you has put in the time and the effort, and they've shown up. And so they deserve all of the reverence, all of the gratitude, all of the love that you can show them. And it makes me emotional thinking about it now, because the truth is we don't give people enough credit. We allow the jealousy to get the most of us, to get the best of us, I should say, or the worst. And we don't give people the credit that they deserve. We don't remind ourselves all the effort, all the blood, sweat, and tears that probably went into them getting where they are today. And we forget to tell ourselves and remind ourselves that if they've done it, that's a good thing, because that means it's possible for us too. So that's what I really want you to channel. I want you to get yourself into a higher vibration, into a better space, by reminding yourself of everything you've done that has been incredible, of sharing or going and looking at direct examples of your work in the world, whether it's client testimonials or whatever it is that gets you into that positive space, and then show gratitude for this person who has evoked this emotion for you, because it's so important, like I said, to remember that they have paved the way. They've shown you what's possible. That jealousy, it's a very strong emotion. Anytime we have a strong emotion, it's important to pay attention to what it really means for us and to go deeper, because it's not just there for no reason. It's there to give you some sort of direction or to remind you of what you truly want. So maybe that jealousy comes up for you on a day where you were feeling quite lethargic, or you were feeling directionless, or a lack of clarity. So allow that jealousy to be that gift that you need in that moment to really move forward and to understand what it is that you are meant for if you have forgotten. So today, I just want to thank Rachel Hollis. Who knows if she'll ever hear this? If someone knows her, forward this her way. I hope she's okay with me sharing this. But I'm grateful that she has reminded me what's possible. So for someone like me who is not a mom yet, to know that she's been able to do what she's done with 4 children and an amazing marriage from the outside looking in, what looks like an amazing marriage, and to be able to work with her husband and to create products. I mean, the amount of products, or what I've seen her create so far, is just absolutely incredible. And I'm super excited about products and adding those to our business. And so again, that's such a huge reminder of what is truly possible. And someone, like myself, with a book coming out in just a few months, to know what's possible in terms of her getting on the New York Times bestsellers list and selling the amount of books that she did sell. Again, this is such a reminder of what is possible when we move forward with just love in our hearts and show up and serve and give value, because that's exactly what I see her doing. I know that someone who has recorded however many podcast episodes, it looks like 82 on this one podcast, has put in the work and has really shown up. So I really admire that. And I again remind you to show admiration and gratitude for those people who evoke that jealousy or that comparison hangover in you today. So I know that this is a big topic for a lot of us in this space of being very visible in social media and putting ourselves out there online. And so if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear who you're grateful for, who has paved the way for you, who evokes that jealousy for you on a maybe daily basis or weekly basis. Whose chapter are you often comparing your chapter to? And allow that person to inspire you, not cause you to stop in your tracks. So I'm Emily Williams, 7-figure success coach, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the I Heart My Life show. Please take a second to leave a review. We love reading all of your comments, suggestions, and feedback. And for more inspiration, success tips, and ways to achieve your life and business goals, definitely follow me on Instagram and Facebook at I Heart My Life Now. See you next time.